What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and this is going to be episode 28 of All Hail the King. This episode is going to be focused on the newest character, Medusa, and so we're going to be building teams around her and her incapacitation. There will be 3 team-ups, like I mentioned in the last From the Helicarrier podcast segment. And if you missed it, you can find it at www.thehelicarrier.com. I'm also going to place a link to the corresponding podcast in the description below, so make sure you go and check it out. But for now, let's move on to our first team up. For our first team up, we're going to be using Medusa and Constrictor. Both of these heroes have the ability to incapacitate the enemies, as well as to exploit stuns. In order to assist this team up, my agent's using the Deathly Freeze Ray and the Hotshot. So the Hotshot can stun the entire team but does have a cooldown, and the Freeze Ray can place an AoE incapacitation, as well as be activated as a counterattack. After using the Signpost, our first action is going to be to fire that Hotshot. If we're lucky, it can do quite a bit of damage, and we can get a full team stun. Already it's going to pay off because we do stun Pestilence Beast. So now on Constrictor's first turn, we can use a Distress Call, and a random lockbox character will attack. I look at this as free damage even though it is a level 9 and a one-time use. This time we do get pretty lucky though because Electra comes out and she uses Rain of Blood. So that's an AoE attack that causes internal bleeding. Next, with our regular attack, we can use Snake Eater to exploit stuns. And the enemy agent does happen to be stunned. Surprisingly, Constrictor can do quite a bit of damage with this attack, and he also does use an item. That's just a random little benefit that he gets from his passive ability. Then with Medusa's turn, we have a really tough decision. Should we go ahead and try to finish off the enemy agent, or should we attack the Red Hulk? In this case, I'm going to try to place incapacitation on Red Hulk, so we're going to use her Rocking Locks. The reason for this is because we can then exploit it, and also if we're really lucky, he may have to miss his turn. Alright, so here goes nothing. A level 6 on the Red Hulk, and it looks like he's going to dodge every single bit of this attack. I find this really odd, but a huge target like Red Hulk ends up dodging more than just about any other character I face. So on his turn, he's going to cast Bulwark, and now that's going to be a problem for our team. After using the Signpost, the enemy agent's going to be very close to death. At this point, we could let Dots finish him off, but I do think we're going to fire the Deathly Freeze Ray. I would just really love to place incapacitation on the entire enemy team, and then we could exploit it for the rest of the fight. Okay, semi-bad news, the most dangerous character on their team, Red Hulk, ends up dodging the attack. Just like I said, for being a huge character, he has the most dodge I've ever seen. And I know reality hacking is the culprit, but still it's pretty annoying that Red Hulk happens to be the character that always dodges. Now on this turn I end up making a tough call, and I attack Red Hulk instead of finishing off Pestilence Beast. I'm still going for that incapacitation, and now that he finally doesn't have reality hacking, we end up hitting him, and we get a double strike because of our item. But our efforts are not going to go unpunished, because we end up taking a massive amount of damage. And that's why we hate Red Hulk. Then on Medusa's turn, we do have Bad Hair Day off of cooldown, but in this case it's really not worth using. Now since Red Hulk is up next, and he has Bulwark anyways, I'm going to go ahead and use our level 1, which does have Exploit Stun, aka Exploit Incapacitation. And Medusa's also going to have to pay, so there's a pretty big HP drop. Luckily, Red Hulk does have to skip his turn, meaning our agent can hopefully take him down. So we will start with our quick action Signpost, and this actually causes him the Meltdown. At first I was confused as to why Medusa was using her passive, but then we see a Meltdown. This even procs Pyrophoric Flames, and almost finishes off Constrictor, plus has our entire team in a pretty uncomfortable position. So yeah, after thinking we had this well in hand, Red Hulk almost single-handedly takes out our team. The best news though is that Red Hulk will be skipping his next turn, and he only has 121 HP. So if you're wondering if Medusa and Constrictor can take on a Red Hulk and Pestilence Beast team, then wonder no further. Not only do we manage to hold up, we actually win. Next we're going to take on a very familiar face. Like I mentioned before, practice battles are very limited, and we only see about 7 different agents. Agent Foxmolder from the Avengers League happens to be one of them, and as we know, he's running Tigra and Medusa. We of course are using Black Widow and Medusa, and if you're wondering why we're using Black Widow, well it's because she has a stun and incapacitation. Since the enemy Medusa happens to be next, we're going to go ahead and stun her. So there she loses her first turn. And now with our agent, we can use the Signpost to heal us back to full health. That's one of the great things having Dark Bargain and Death Frost from the Deathly Freeze Ray. It increases the healing power of your Signpost. Then let's go ahead and fire that Deathly Freeze Ray for the AoE incapacitation. Unfortunately, the enemy agent dodges and we're going to eat a few counterattacks. But hey, with that incapacitation, we can use Medusa's level 1, Splitting Hairs, and it does have exploit stuns. Plus it has deadly crits, and since it is a slashing attack, I went ahead and put the Vorpal AISO on it, so that means it has ignore defense. As you can easily see, it does a considerable amount of damage. That's 1 enemy down and 2 to go. So next the enemy agent's going to use the Blackest Void, and then after that we're going to risk attacking with Black Widow. Since I believe the enemy agent dodged that incapacitation, we're going to go ahead and use her level 2 on him, and even if we would have attacked our own, at least it wouldn't deal that much damage. This is going to leave the evil Medusa clone to attack our Black Widow, but she will be counterattacked, and she only has 330 health left. A Signpost use will finish her off, and then we'll just have the enemy agent to deal with. With his normal action though, I think we're just going to use the Light Fantastic and heal our entire team. Then let's leave it to the ladies to win this match. And try saying that one 5 times fast. I should have put that one in the outtakes. Which does remind me to let you know that there will be a bonus video linked at the end of this one. It's going to basically feature outtakes, and one of them is even going to be a loss. So for anyone who wanted to see that, make sure you stick around to the end and then click the link. It's going to appear right in the middle of the screen in the outro. Now moving on to our final team of this video, it's going to be Medusa and Skirn, Breaker of Men. Let me just start by telling you this Deadlock team gave me some issues. In fact, you can watch that in the outtakes video. There you'll see exactly what I mean. First, the enemy agent's going to start this one off, and all he does is use the Staff of Asklepios. Now on Medusa's turn, one of the problems with facing this team is the fact that they have the Mystic Shroud. We still get a very nice hit and do quite a bit of damage, but we don't place any debuffs. Then on top of that, Deadpool does get to follow up his attack because we do have an Infiltrator, and then they still get Mental Coordination, and they proc it for both their agent and Psylocke. Even though Medusa can take reduced damage and she dodges some of the attacks, she still drops all the way to 23,000 health. Then my agent happens to have obsolete tech, so we can't even use the Blackest Void to remove the Mystic Shroud. Instead, we're going to have to go with an AoE attack, and I opt for the Hotshot. I know this weapon can do a nice amount of damage, and truthfully I was just hoping to take out their agent. But of course we fall just short, so it's going to be up to Skirn to finish him off. Here's hoping that Deadpool doesn't protect for this first attack. After using Burst of Speed, we get 2 attacks, and by the way, Motion Granite does have Incapacitation, and then of course Skirn's Stomp has Exploit Stun. So just in case you were wondering how this fits into the theme of the episode. Alright, and we do get lucky, we finish their agent with our first attack, and then we can use our Stomp on Deadpool. And the reason for this is because we can't place any debuffs, so we might as well do as much damage as we can. Then with Medusa we're going to use Headbang, and that should knock out the Merc with a Mouth. This should only leave Psylocke, and the AI really tends to mess her up. This means that we should easily win this one, as they'll waste most of her turns with Kinetic Shield or Mental Coordination. Or at least we hope so, but you never know with the AI. After using the Signpost on my agent's turn, I'm going to play it safe and use the Light Fantastic. The real reason of course is because I'd rather finish this match with Medusa or Skirn. This will however give Psylocke one final attack. Too bad it's only going to heal us, and so here comes a Psychic Knives attack, and it does heal Skirn. I suppose since this is kind of a Medusa video, I'll go ahead and try to set her up with a Motion Granite. This should apply Incapacitation to Psylocke. Then we can win this match with our level 1 Splitting Hairs. So let's see how much damage we can get. Well, it does over 36k, but we didn't get a crit. Still, I think that's respectable, and that's the way this video is going to end. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want to see the outtakes, just click the link in the center of the screen. Lastly, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck, and take care.